Alrighty, so somewhere in the Fox studio in LA, there has to be a huge sigh of relief that this game did not go to extra time because I'm pretty sure that they were very nervous with the way that if this game does go to extra time, what are they going to do with the El Tráfico? Like, they can't push that one back. They have to force to maybe put it on FS2 or even on another Fox Sports Network. And for a game that is as hyped up as El Tráfico as the Fox Sports Network seems to have, that would be the last thing that they want to do. But again, thankfully for them, this game did not go to extra time. But this was really a game where, again, I feel like this game lived up to its hype, where it's between two very good teams. We know the Union is an MLS Cup contender, but I also thought that FC Cincinnati could easily be the Cinderella story and could really be the team like RSL that can really make it all the way into the conference final. And then I also thought throughout this game, you kind of definitely sense there was not only that playoff kind of vibe, but also a cup final vibe where it's between two very good teams having a couple of decent chances. And as the game goes long and this game remains at 0-0, you just kind of had a sense that one goal is probably going to be enough to win it for either of these teams. And in the end, it's the Union that grabbed that only goal of the game, and they were able to survive despite the fact that Cincinnati really put on a lot of pressure against the Union late in this one. Though early on, in the first half, in the 5th minute, Barrio hits one right to Blake. Before I thought Cincinnati has most of the possession early in this one, Salentano would then deny Carranza and the Union first chance. And by the way, talk about Cincinnati having most of the possession early. That was kind of unexpected because we know this is a Union team that tends to like to have possession, but that was not the case early on. Though eventually they kind of got the possession and kind of got themselves back into this game after a slow start. And as I mentioned, the first big chance was Salentano denying Carranza there. I thought the front three for the Union wasn't really that sharp throughout this game, and that's kind of expected with the way that I know as great as that front three is. In the playoffs, it's a different animal. Like it's definitely different mentality, and that it's also kind of maybe at times game of inches of how it is in the playoffs. So yeah, I thought that even though this front three, there's a couple of times where they had some chances to finish, they weren't able to do so. And also, not to mention, it's been 10 days since the Union played their last game, so there's also that layoff where maybe they might have started slow because they are trying to get themselves back into that competitive sharpness and knowing that this is pretty much a do or die playoff game. Now, as I mentioned, after a slow start, Union have found their stride and press for the opener. Oh, I forgot to mention that Gasset had an opportunity too, but he heads it just wide from a free header. The hostile Philly crowd then remind the ref that he really sucks, and again, that's kind of a tradition in terms of Philly sports culture. That the sports fan in Philadelphia ain't going to give the ref a nice easy time, and that. Yeah, I mean, the ref you suck, Chan. I think I've heard probably more than I have seen throughout this playoffs. I mean, throughout this playoff, I have heard fans show their displeasure in terms of the referee, but yeah, Union fans and in general Philadelphia sports fans, they know how their feelings toward the ref, and that if they don't get the call that goes in their way, they're gonna really go after the referee. So yeah, a lot of ref you suck, Chan, and it kind of started in the 10th minute. Carranza then heads it just wide from the free kick. Again, Carranza had a lot of opportunity in this one, but as it is the story along with the other front three, they just weren't really sharp in front of goal. But I also thought that Cincinnati, they were stuck in their own half. Like, the Union was really starting to put a lot of pressure, and I thought they need to got to ride out the storm as they just pin deep and just cannot play that outlet ball. Now, the good news is they eventually did ride out that storm, and when they were able to ride out that storm, Vasquez had a chance to do so, but he hits one right to Blake. And I talk about the front three of the Union not being sharp. That was kind of the same for the front three for Cincinnati too, though, again, as I will talk about in just a bit, a lot of that has to do with the fact that the goalkeeper of the year that is known as Andre Blake, yeah, he was definitely on his game in this one. But as I said, it looked like Cincy survived the Union rush that the Union put on Cincinnati for about 10 minutes. But I also thought it's been a very physical game with a lot of fouls and stoppage. And, the refereeing, early on, it was kind of weird. Because early on, it looked like they were letting everything go. And then all of a sudden, they were just calling everything. And they were just kind of got to a point where there was just not a lot of rhythm in the game. And again, in a playoff game like this, I don't mind if they decided to let go some of these fouls that maybe is called in the regular season. But then if you just all of a sudden decide to call it everything, including some that I think that are clearly not foul, and or there was kind of a lot of play acting that was going on that the referee still deemed that it's a foul, then that of course creates a problem. But at the same time, despite the fact that there was some stop and go, it didn't really kind of cost this game to kind of go on a bit of a stale pace. I mean, a lot of time whenever you have these kind of stoppage and just no rhythm to the game, that doesn't really create a lot of exciting action. But that was not the case in this one, because in the 30th minute, Wobodo had a chance to give the Cincinnati a 1-0 lead, but he pulls it wide from close range before Carenza had another opportunity, but he also puts it wide from 10 yards out. I also thought that the on-field mic that was put in this game, it was it must be very close to both coaches, because we can definitely hear both coaches in terms of what they're shouting in terms of the tactics, and also their reaction whenever a foul is being called. And I like that they decided to do that, and I've noticed throughout this playoffs, especially from the Fox Network, they have done more of that, because they want to get kind of that in-game experience, and also kind of just kind of for the folks at home, they want to see what exactly the head coach are saying, because I think that's something that is very unique in a way where you don't even get a chance to hear that when you're at the game. Like at the game, it is like you unless you're sitting right behind the head coach, you're not going to hear the instruction or the frustration that is shown by these head coaches whenever a foul is being called on or against their team. But again, like I said, I do like it when they do that, but at the same time, there is definitely that risk because of the way that if there is an F-bomb that is dropped in there, which there was a couple of time, then yeah, the main commentator is gonna have to try to apologize for the language. Though for the most part, I don't think JP Derrickamera even mentioned about how we apologize for using that language. I mean, I think he did mention once the fact that, or actually, I think it was Kobe Jones, the one that mentioned the fact that at least it wasn't some explicit language that is being shown, and then JP kind of just said, yeah, we might have some of that as the game goes along. So yeah, it's kind of in some way there's benefits and disadvantage of having the mic so close to the coaches. On one hand, it gives you the unique experience, but the other for TV's sake and for maturity's sake, you're gonna hear F-bombs that is dropped on the broadcast. But we do head to halftime scoreless between both of these teams, and in the second half, Vasquez had a chance from long range, and he really rifled this one, but it just puts a little bit high there. Before Blake would deny Moreno from 12 yards out, and once again, I thought it was a promising start for Cincinnati coming out of the half. And then there was a huge concern for Union fans when Martinez looked like he was in a lot of pain and he was limping off and looked like he was going to come out for a substitution. But thankfully, he was able to continue, and we'll see whether or not if that injury is maybe severe, because I'm pretty sure Jose Martinez was playing through an injury throughout this game, and that even though at times that he looks fine, it was the adrenaline rush and the fact that in a playoff like that, especially you have your home fans, it's gonna give that boost where you're not gonna feel the pain until maybe after the game, and that we'll see what would be the status for Jose Martinez, because that's another player that is irreplaceable for the Union, and they cannot afford to lose as the playoffs continue. But then in the 59th minute, we got ourselves the opening goal. It's Leon Flock that scored from Uru to give the Union a 1-0 lead, and I thought it was kind of against the run of play, because up until then, I didn't think the Union really did much, and that most of the chances that Cincinnati had, or most of the chances that we had in this start of the second half, came from Cincinnati. But the Union able to get that opening goal there against the run of play, and just like that, they grabbed the all-important first goal, and that again, it was just feel like a game where maybe one goal is going to enough. Uru then looked to try to get the second for the Union, but he hits it right to Celentano. There was then some pushing and shoving after Bizo kicked the ball right to Barreal, but it's important to highlight This was before the whistle. So what happened in this was that it looks like McGlynn actually fouled Boreal to the ground, and then because of the fact that this was so close to the byline and Bizo had to try to clear this one away before it goes out of play and goes for a Cincinnati throw in. That's why he basically blasts this one and blasted before when the whistle is blown. Now, obviously, when you do that, that's gonna anger a lot of the player from the opposition, and maybe there's gonna be some pushing and shoving. But this was just kind of one of those unfortunate situation where, again, Bizo, there was no way in the world he would have thought that was a foul, and it's also kind of unfortunate that he basically kicked it right into Boreal, and that I think in the end they got it right there. Even though I know certainly both head coaches are not happy about that, especially Pat Nolan, and we even hear in the on field mic that he wants a red card for that because he think that was intentional. But in the 71st minute, Blake would deny Acosta from close range as Cincinnati was continuing to push man forward. And this is where the Union kind of started to go into a fetal position and started to kind of bunker a little bit. But Cincinnati was pushing hard to try to get the equalizer. Though as soon as I said that, Burke had a free header in the 73rd minute, but he just mistimed his jump. Like, if he did not mistime his jump, that one would go into the back of the net. But he mistimed his jump, couldn't get any contact into it. And then Blake almost made a big mistake as he kind of got caught in no man's land as the corner comes in, and that he kind of went off his lines a little bit too much from the corner, but somehow he was able to just acrobatically tip that one away. I mean, I have no idea how he was able to tip it away, but he had to do that because if he didn't tip that one away, that was going to be taken advantage, because I think that looked like it was going to curl into for Olympic goal. But at least I think there was also a Cincinnati player in the back post. He would have just easily heads that one in, and that was a huge let off for Andre Blake. But fortunate for him that was really the only let off that he had, because in the 82nd minute, after Acosta fires it high on the free kick, he robbed Vasquez from close range. I mean, that was a huge save there from Andre Blake, and that, I mean, this is why Blake is the goalkeeper of the year, making those big save in crucial moment. And we know that he has the ability in terms of stealing games for the Union, and it looks like he is stealing this one for the Union with the amount of saves that he had made to keep this one at 1-0. Then Carranza had a shot that was actually blocked by his own teammate, but it ricocheted right into Burke. And to Burke defense, I don't think he knew a lot about it. I mean, as much as that was a horrendous miss by Burke, where he was wide open in the back post but couldn't quite redirect it. Again, I don't think he knew a lot about that, but yeah, that was a big opportunity of putting the game away. And then Burke had another opportunity in the second minute of stoppage time, but he crossed it just wide from close. And the Union, they were looking to try to put this away. I mean, knowing the fact that they've seen before where teams have been giving up late leads this season, they're looking to try not to do that. And that at the same time, they're also hoping that Cincinnati doesn't create much chances to really have a chance to equalize late, which thankfully for the Union, that was not the case, because Cincinnati, they kind of just ran out of time to create any chances. And in the end, it's the Union moving on into the next round. They're a hard-fought 1-0 victory against Cincinnati. Shots in this one, 16 shots compared to 14 that Cincinnati had, 6 shots on goal compared to 5 that Cincinnati has, 8 shots off target compared to 4 that Cincinnati has, 5 shots that was blocked compared to 2 that the Union has, and possession-wise, 54% possession compared to 46% possession that the Union has. And as I said with the Union, this was always going to be a big test coming in to this game against a team that knows them very well. And I thought FC Cincinnati, there was times where they could have easily got the opening goal or even got the equalizer late on. But again, big players stepped up in big game. And in this one, Andre Blake stepped up big for the Union with some crucial save to steal this one and get this team to move on to the next round. But for FC Cincinnati, I don't think there's any shame coming out of this. Yes, it does sting the fact that they lost a close one against the Union. But again, like Minnesota, I thought they played very well in this game. And it's just, unfortunately, this is one of those games where somebody's had to lose. And unfortunately, Cincinnati has to be that team that lose this game. But like I also said in the preview, this team was playing with house money coming into to this game, and that no matter what happened in this game, whether they win or lose, which in this case they lose this match, it's definitely considered a successful season, or not just a successful season, but really a season that they have overachieved by a country mile. And I'm pretty sure that this team is going to be back in this stage, and that yeah, I mean, if they get when you look at this team, they can get maybe a little bit more help, especially on the defensive end, because at times they did look a little bit vulnerable on the defensive end. I think this team could do something, and again, I think they have the quality of potentially getting back to the playoffs next season. So yeah, either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys like, smash the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of this video. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.